again. The words created by novelists are produced by imagination, but sometimes it is possible for imagination to be even closer to reality than the truth. It's because the words created by writers skips over reality and fiction to another generation of truth. That word of truth sometimes starts off as a tiny motive, later condensing a couple dozen years of time. Jo Jong-rae's Playing with Fire is just a novel.
Jo Jong-rae's Playing with Fire is a novel that shows how the damage of ideological wars can change people's lives. He depicts the destruction of traditional Korean society due to the Korean War, along with the painful process the Korean people went through. The novel begins with a phone call 30 years after the Korean War, taking us back in time to a certain rural place where a brutal mass murder is taking place during the Korean War. The murder was carried out by the proletarians in order to get rid of the ruling power and take over the village, which was in a state of anarchy. The person in charge of the mass murder hid from his past by living the rest of his life as a different person, which becomes the impetus of the revenge story. The irony is that the main characters of the novel who investigate the case are the sons of the people who were involved in the actual murder. Even after many years, they find themselves deeply entangled in the case, unable to find stability. Tracking down such tragic cases in Korean history is also one of the characteristics of Jo Jong-rae's novels.
The motive of playing with fire later influences many of the author's works. Jo Jong-rae began writing longer-scale novels reflecting Korea's modern history after the Playing with Fire, but still uses the same perspectives. Taebaek Mountain Range and Arirang are good examples of some of his sagas.
The saga Taebaek Mountain Range was written over 5 years and is considered a hallmark of Korean War literature. As the backbone of the peninsula, the Taebaek Mountain Range was the center of the partisan activity during the Korean War. Most of the partisan activity taking place near the end of the war destroyed human relations and forever left scars in the hearts of Korean people. In a way, the novel Playing with Fire is an episode that makes up the background for the novel Taebaek Mountain Range.
예, 불놀이 같은 데에서 조정래 선생이 추구하는 방향은 한국사의 내부에 존재했던 모순점들이 어떤 식으로 민족의 이념적인 분열을 조장했는가 하는 데 있습니다. 그러니까 토지를 중심으로 한 그런 갈등, 그 다음에 신분적인 갈등, 지주라든지 소작인의 관계라든지 또는 양반과 평민, 상인들 사이의 그런 갈등이라든지 하는 이런 문제들 같은 것이 근대 이후에 체험하게 되는 이념적인 요건과 연결됨으로써 오히려 더 크게 터져 나온 게 6.25 전쟁이다라고 하는 그런 식의 접근법을 갖고 있는 것이죠.
Taebaek Mountain Range tells the story of Korea from 1948 until the end of the Korean War in 1953. The novel takes place in the author's hometown in Jeolla Province, featuring the partisans who were a result of the current social environment. The author attempts to build literary understanding by using such characters. The left-wing intellectual Yum Sang-jin and a warrior farmer Ha De-chi are the main characters in the novel, which is said to be a challenge against the taboos of Korean society. The novel looks back at the past history of Korea in a new light, as a country that has reached economic stability. Through the process, the writer shows us a different side of the partisans who were judged by their ideology, creating new values in the heated, newly democratic Korean society. The novel received great public acclaim, making it one of the biggest bestsellers in Korean history.
일단 그 조정래 선생님은 어떤 분보다도 역사 공부를 많이 하시고 실제 취재, 특히 이제 뭐 아리랑이라든가 태백산맥을 쓰기 위해서 엄청난 취재와 또 이제 증인들과의 대화를 많이 하셨죠. 그리고 누구보다도 사회과학적인 안목이 뛰어나신 분 같습니다. 그 다음에 이제 이른바 역사적 과정에서 나타나기 마련인 반동적 인물들, 그런 분들을 대단히 리얼하게 묘사를 합니다. 예를 들면은 태백산맥에서 염상구라는 인물들은 상당히 어떤 리얼하게 묘사가 되어 있거든요. 그만큼 인간과 사회에 대한 어떤 폭넓은 감시관을 가지고 있기 때문에 역사의 어떤 발전을 이뤄나가는 어떤 긍정적인 인물 못지않게 대단히 어떤 부정적이고 반동적 인물에 대한 어떤 탁월한 묘사력을 보여주고 있다는 점이 조정래 문학의 또 다른 어떤 개가가 아니겠는가.
The writer Jo Jung-rae lived a very interesting life. Raised by his father, who was a traditional poet and monk, Jo Jung-rae started his literary career as a poet, later becoming a novelist. With the novel Playing with Fire, he transformed into a saga writer, authoring novels about Korean history after the late 19th century. His most famous novel, Arirang, deals with Korean history after the Japanese invasion until independence from colonial rule. The novel Taebaek Mountain Range takes off from there until the end of the tragic Korean War. Lastly, the novel Hangang River depicts the history of Korea after the war until today. Building on a foundation of national consciousness, the writer describes the tragic lives of his characters due to the separation of Korea. Through this process, the writer also searches for the key to overcome the sorrow of a divided nation. At the foundation of any current or future writer's story of Korean history, there will always be a part of the novel Playing with Fire.
The world of Jo Jong-rae is a summary of Korea's modern history. Foreign invasion, separation, and the lives of real people in the midst of such a state. For more information on Jo Jong-rae, please log on to the following website. Thanks for being with us today and take care.